Good morning from Grand Anse, Grenada. So we are still in Grenada, but we have moved. We have moved for a couple of reasons. One, because this anchorage is much, much nicer. It's much more open, as you can see. Got a little squall going on out there. But we are on the west coast of Grenada, and we are not boxed in to that bay that we were. So the ability to make water, because the water's cleaner, a better view. There is a marina right over there that we can go to if we need to go into land. And there's people, but a lot less people. So that makes it much nicer. Blaine is actually off the boat right now. He had to leave, just like with anything with land life. He had to leave to take care of a family illness in the States. So he is gone. I am not 100% sure when he will be back. So it's just me. I am here doing the thing. So a lot of people ask if, are you going to be okay on the boat by yourself? Yes, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine for a couple of reasons. One, Blaine is a fabulous teacher, and he has, over the last couple of years of us living on the boat, he has taught me all of the things. I know all the things that I need to do. I'll get into some of that in a little bit about what I need to do while he's gone. We do have different roles on the boat when we're both here. So there's certain things that I do, and there's certain things that he does. But when one of us leaves, it's on the other person to make sure that those things are being done and that we're safe and all of that. Another reason that I feel totally safe on the boat alone is back there. I don't know how well you can see. You can see the mast up above. I have a buddy boat. So that buddy boat knows the situation, knows that I am here by myself. It's somebody that we are traveling with. And so they are able to, be there for me if I need anything. But again, most of the things I can take care of myself. For instance, I actually have the water maker set up. It's not running yet because it would be really loud to make this video if it was running. So I do have that set up ready to go so that I can make some water in this much nicer anchorage. So that is going. We also have inside here, so all of these yellow totes are all of my sewing things. So there's a bunch of supplies in the two big ones under the table. This one right here has all of my fabrics in it, and I'm going to be working on some sewing projects. So I also, as you can see back here, have my sewing machine up and ready to go. So once the water maker gets started, I can work on these. So these are what I am currently working on. These are window covers for the front windows. I've already sewn these once. However, the grommets that were supposed to be stainless steel have rusted out. So I am going to have to fix that. So I'll be working on that today. So I've got my sewing machine set up for that. I've got some new little apparatuses that I get to use. I've also been working on the handrails, new handrails for our dinghy. So those are there. So I'll work on those. And then, probably not today, but while Blaine's gone, we also have this huge medical tote. So you can see there, this is our medical tote. And this is all of the supplies that we have in case of regular medical stuff, Band-Aids and all those sorts of things, medicines, and then also emergency stuff. So it's good to go through that periodically and make sure that you have all the things that you need. And just like with land life, sometimes you just need a girls' night. So my friend over on the buddy boat is coming over tonight. I have some chicken. I'm going to make a chicken cabbage oriental type salad for her to come over and hang out tonight. So yeah, there's really not a lot to be scared of while I'm out here. Again, it's kind of like being at a house on land. It just happens to be that my house floats on the ocean. So I just kind of keep doing the things that I'm used to doing. The water is something that Blaine normally does, so I've taken that on. Also, down in the holes, there are right over here, you can see that little hole down there. Those are where our bilges are. Blaine typically keeps an eye on those. But now that he's not here, that's my job. So I check those when I first get up in the morning and when I go to bed at night to make sure that those are staying dry and that there's no problems. Another thing that I check on is our anchor alarm to make sure that we are staying within our circle. All is well there. Keeping an eye on power. We are doing pretty good today. We are at 83%. I will make some water and I'll probably still get to 100 by the end of the day. Also on here, if I do start to get water in the bilges, these pumps will come on and the lights illuminate, so I can keep an eye on the bilges that way as well. But yeah, it's not scary at all to be here by myself. I actually end up getting a lot of projects done when Blaine's not here, because we're not going to land or doing things or just kind of hanging out together. So after I get done with my with my front cover window covers, I also have the side windows that I'm going to do. So these side windows right here let in a lot of light and heat. So I am also, with that same orange fabric, going to be making covers for that. So yeah, life just kind of goes on when one of us is not on the boat. And while we do miss each other, of course, when we're not together, everything just kind of works out. So when I'm done with this video, I'm going to start making water, like I said, making dinner for our girls' night, and starting to work on my sewing projects. And then after this, Blaine from the past life is going to explain our solar system and how that 83% number that I just showed you is how much power we have in our battery banks right now and how that whole system works to make it to where I can use power to run my sewing machine or use the electric cooktop to make dinner, run the water maker, all the things that take power from our boat. So again, welcome to Grand Anse, and here's Blaine.
Good morning. We're in Grand Anse, Grenada. It is on the west side of the island. We left here from Prickly Bay a couple days ago because a friend boat of ours had guests and we wanted to come out sailing. We wanted to enjoy a more open anchorage, a little less packed. We had a boat anchor in front of us that when we were in Prickly Bay, we had a boat anchor in front of us that almost hit us. That boat moved, and this is how close it came. So, how close is too close? No zoom. I'm curious because we're new to boating. I'm not saying I could jump onto his boat, but about 4 years ago I could have. It's coming even closer. Actually, I think I can. If I was right here, step onto his boat. So how close is too close? And what do you do in this situation? Hey, sir, are you awake? You're within 5 feet of us, sir. Hi, how you doing? Not trying to be rude, but want to be able to sleep without thinking I'm getting hit. I appreciate it. Sorry. Just to follow up on this, because I'll probably put this in YouTube, is I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want to be a bad neighbor. I don't have a claim to the ocean. I don't even have a claim to this spot. But there's got to be a way where you can protect your home. And that guy was dragging quite a bit back into us. But we told him when he anchored that he was too close. Then he gave us the oh well and went downstairs. It's like, I understand it's hard to find a good anchorage, especially down south at this time of year. I respect it. That's why when we started out, we were anchored way out there until we found a spot that was open. Just some of the things you gotta learn. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm sure somebody's gonna watch this and say I was paranoid, but I don't know how close is too close. You guys tell me. As you can tell, it's not my goal to be rude. I don't know all of the proper boating etiquettes. We're still new. For instance, I'm aiming my camera up here. I know there's people on their boat over there. I don't know what level of dress they are at. I feel guilty, so I'm aiming my camera over here. But we decided to come over here because every time that bay is filling up, and we were constantly getting boats coming in, and it just got to be uncomfortable. We love this life because we want wide open space, and Grand Anse was a lot more wide and a lot more open. Sometimes that means we have to deal with a little more of the rollies, but we'll take it. I often refer to sailing and this lifestyle to non-boating people as glamping. It's kind of like having an RV traveling the US, but we're just traveling the world by boat. But that's not always entirely accurate, and that doesn't fit the description for a lot of boats out here. We have no place to plug in for shore power. We have no place to, you know, dump our holding tanks unless we go sailing out 3 miles. So there are some differences between this and a camping lifestyle. And one of the ways we've come to overcome the difficulties of sailing is with our power system. As we scan the anchorage, avoiding one boat, of course, these are our friends. They got solar panels on the back. If we look at this really nice catamaran over here, we can see that there's no solar panels on the back of it. But part of the game we play out here is that a charter boat? And it's a fun game to play because when you look at that boat and then you look at this boat. Now, obviously one's a cat and one is a monohull. But as you could tell, if you look at their back end, they've got antennas, they've got a dinghy motor hanging, they've got solar panels. This guy over here has 2 paddleboards, a pristine looking boat, and nothing on his decks that show that he lives on it. So that's more than likely a charter boat. And you don't see any solar there because they go back to a dock at the end of their charter. Over here, we have another boat without solar, and we can see that they're a charter boat. But if we scan past that one boat and come over here, this monohull off in the distance, I'll zoom in on, has a full solar array on the back. And out here, the difference between I'm loving it and oh God, get me off this boat is the creature comforts. Right here we have our right here we have our Starlink mounted. And it runs down into the boat, and Starlink is a game changer. It allows us to make these videos and upload them. It allows us to play video games with our friends and research things online and check weather. I mean, it has a purpose for keeping us safe, but it's better internet than we had anywhere in the States, anywhere we've lived. But the main point I wanted to show you today, my rambling, is the one area where we went from Beverly Hillbillies to a little bit more of Kardashians. And that's our solar system. These panels are 440 watts. And we have 6 of them. And I'm going to cut in right up here as I talk about power. And I didn't actually know where to start. Where do you start with your power system? And I guess I wanted to start with where it comes from. All of our power comes from the sun. We have no active generator on this boat. In fact, with a generator that came on this boat, it broke 4 times. Each time it broke, the part was $1,000 plus a couple hundred in shipping. For a generator that primarily we were running to keep it running, because that's the good thing that you're supposed to do, is keep your gear in working order. But we weren't really ever using it. This is August. We are the furthest south in the Caribbean we've been. We ran AC last night because it's hot. And we're doing fine on power. And that's because of this setup. This setup has allowed us to be the boat that always has ice. Never runs a generator, there's no noisiness. It has been a game changer for us. I don't know what our life would have been like without this solar, but I know we could have afforded a lot bigger boat, but we decided to go with the amenities over the boat. And so to start explaining how our solar works, each one of these panels is 440 watts. So we have 6 of them. So my high school dropout math says that I believe that is 2,640 watts. Now in a minute, I'll go downstairs and I'll explain the watts versus amp hours versus volts and everything else like that. But I figure when we're starting the system, we've got to show where our power comes from. And our power comes from these bad boys. We use a emery cloth to keep them clean. When we are on anchor like this, we move our boom over so it doesn't shade the solar panels, because one little bit of shading can take out a whole solar panel. We also arranged our solar system where each of our solar panels has its own MPPT controller. And what that means is this panel is run by itself, that panel is run by itself, and all those are run by itself. So if this panel right here gets shaded, it's not diminishing the power from this. And that's a problem with solar in if one panel goes down, they all go down unless you have them wired properly. We spent months designing our system and pretty much trying to make it bulletproof. There are ways to tune this electrical system to get 20 to 30% more power out of it than we are. But then we're also putting wear and tear on our system. So this is the solar, and next I'm going to show you what our solar goes into. So now that we're down here on the main deck part of the boat, our solar feeds into a controller, and then that controller feeds the batteries. And that controller has the ability to read the battery levels and know, are you getting full? Are you not getting full? And it keeps the whole system protected. So if we get up to 95%, it starts to shut the panels down one by one. And then when we're at 100%, it shuts them down altogether. And it's 100% of coming in here, and that is our battery bank. We have 6 Redondo 300 amp hour batteries all in one bank, which means we have 1800 amp hours. But these are lithium LiFePO4 batteries. In recent years, there has been a lot of controversy about putting lithium on boats. And part of that is because people don't understand the chemistry of batteries, and they'll take a battery pack out of a Tesla and throw it in a boat and think they're great. LiFePO4 means lithium iron phosphate batteries. And these are specially designed for marine use. Pause. So the fear of getting them wet or catching fire, they're designed for marine use. You will hear a lot of situations where boats catch fire, and especially on the internet where everybody's an expert. They're going to blame the lithium. And in some cases it is the lithium. But that's because people take any old lithium battery and throw it into a marine application. Out here in the marine world, everything rusts. Everything is bombarded with salt. Everything gets wet. These batteries are specially designed for marine use. They each have their own built-in battery management system that ties into our overall battery management system. And these levels of redundancy are what pretty much keeps us not thinking about power. I would say the last 4 or 5 times we thought about power was, we need to make a video about our power. So the solar panels that are up there feed the battery bank that's in here. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to talk distribution. This is our power distribution panel. Down here we have our unmounted Starlink router, which is actually going to go up and fill the hole where the generator controls used to be. So if you're wondering what that hole is, that's where our generator controls used to be. When I got tired of feeding money into the generator, I got rid of the controls too. Don't need them. I could use that space, but our Starlinks can get mounted here. Up here is where we keep our navigation tablet when we're under passage. It is tied into our helm, so anybody sleeping down here can just look up and see what our wind speed is and all that, but I'm going to save that for our under passage video. But on this side right here, you have our 12 volt system. That's our DC system. And over here you have our 110 system. That's where we run our water heaters, all of our outlets, all of our kitchen cooking gadgets, and our AC. And then the switch panel in the middle was super important if we go to a dock or if you're running off a generator. We do neither, so these buttons haven't been really touched in the last 2 years. And this up here is our power system control unit. And I'm really hoping I can adjust the white balance in editing because it's hard to see on my screen. I don't know if it's hard to see looking at it. But this shows us our battery capacity, which we ran AC all night last night, and it's at 49%. This shows how much AC load we have going out. This shows how much DC load we have going out. And this shows up how much solar we have coming in. And right now, it is only 8:30 in the morning, so we're not starting to draw the day's worth of solar. But we ran AC all night last night, and we cook only with electric. Our water heaters are electric. Everything we have on our boat is electric. And after a hot day in August in Grenada, running the AC, we wake up in the morning to at least 50% power. And that is the luxury of riches that we built on our boat that other people don't necessarily have. And we're blessed to have it, and I'm glad we designed it, and I'm happy for the people who spent the hard work to put it in. But that's our solar system, that's our battery system, and that's how we're able to just float out here all day long with no power bill, make water when we want, have AC when we want. In the middle of the hottest part of the year, in the southernmost part we've ever been. We're closer to the equator than we've ever been, and it's hot. I'm not lying. I mean, it's been in the 90s. The wind's been low. It's been AC weather, but luckily we have a system that can handle it. So this is Editor Blaine, who's waiting for the last hour of the video to render, and decided I wanted to state that I mentioned multiple times that this YouTube channel is primarily for the next year, not about being a sailing channel, but about keeping family informed, as well as me learning my editing skills. And obviously with my surroundings, I am in Arizona. I'm not even on the boat. But we're going to continue that trend. I'm going to continue to try and hit my target deadlines to make me better at my job of what I want to do for journaling the islands and telling the stories I want to tell. So we're going to make the most out of my time away. And this next week, we're going to do a question and answer, kind of a Zoom call between me and Marnie, where we are going to have fun with it, but we're going to answer the top like 12 questions that we get all the time. And maybe, you know, be surprised by each other's answers. We're not going to preload anything. We're going to whiteboard our answers and then raise them up, and, you know, who knows what kind of shenanigans we'll get into. We didn't pre-plan it. So if you do have any questions, if you're actually one of those people who watches all the way to the end, and you have questions, put them in the comments below, and we'll make them one of our questions that we ask. Thanks for following along, and I'll see you somewhere from Arizona sometime tomorrow. Thanks for the exit music.